So hello everybody, very nice to meet you all. So today we have a very special person here also, Sunny. Please mind my pronunciation, Sunny Franson, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
Sunny Franson, a biologist, artist, a nature lover, and author. And today our topic is how climate change affects psychologically and emotionally. And it's a huge thing that happens to our world now. So I would like to hand over. So maybe we can each introduce ourselves also free. And I would like to hand over to our host, Scott, who is our wonderful host here. So, Scott, please, you take over.
Hi, my name is Scott. I'm Scott Berdell, and this is roughly a third episode of something we feel is best called Chatter and Calm. It's basically a 30-minute session of discussion, guided discussion on topics that we will choose beforehand. And today we do have a very well in these discussions. I do like random format discussions, but we will have a topic, a stated topic, along which we can uh, structure these talks. But I'm not at all opposed or averse to those steering in different wonderful, incredible directions. After talking for 30 to 40 minutes, we like to start with a guided meditation and then possibly finish with another 5 to 10 minute silent meditation. But today we do have a guest named Sunny Franson, and Sunny, could you introduce yourself and tell us what you're about?
Okay. I'm Sunny Franson. I'm a wildlife biologist, author, and artist. And my passion really is to share nature with people and help them to understand that we need to conserve it because it supports us and it will adapt to itself. And with the topic of climate change that I believe you would like to say, we are challenged hugely. And I hope that we can find ourselves humble enough to let nature heal itself, because that will heal us as well. If we don't, I think we're in trouble. It will take a long time, but I think we're in trouble if we don't. I watch wildlife and I watch what's happening with it. It's losing its habitat. So much of it is losing habitat. It's changing its method of survival. It has to. Various species, plants are moving upward to higher elevations. Animals are too. And these are species that have evolved for millennia to live in a certain area. It's difficult for them. They have to adapt. They need to be able to survive, so they need to live where their physiology and their way of life can survive. And we're looking at extinction rates that are mind-blowing, really. I understand that we are, as humans, need to live in this world too, but we share it, and it's time to share it more and to understand that it just makes sense. It's time to be kind and to be humble and to be grateful for what we do have. That may sound, la 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 or something, not possible.
Not at all,
But
right?
yeah, it's a matter of survival. It's going to become a matter of survival, and we are seeing that. I don't know. I haven't thought too much about emotional or psychological effects of it for our species. I'm sure they exist for other species already. But I was interested when Sanji mentioned that a bit ago, and I'd love to know what you all think about that. What's happening with that? Because certainly, we're faced with major events that are happening as we speak, all worldwide. You know,
Absolutely, I agree with you, and you know, and excuse me, because I'm taking notes as you talk because you're saying very, very profound things. You
Mm.
said kinder, humbler, and what else?
gratitude,
Gratitude.
And what? Uh, gratitude.
gratitude.
Yes, and which is very, very important. That gratitude is always something that is definitely brought up and focused on in meditation. And I'm not saying that to say we'll deal with gratitude later. I think gratitude is something that so few people are unaware of or feel that's necessary. It's kind of heartbreaking. Um,
It is.
but kinder, humbler, and showing gratitude are beautiful things that I've just written down and feel I need to personally incorporate in my own life, much less trying to get the word out and trying to get other people to and and grasp and endorse compassion and empathy. But
Empathy, yeah.
yeah, and I sorry, yeah, it becomes kind of emotional. Well, after the last meeting, I felt that climate change should be a good topic on which we could base not one, but you know, I really saw it as um, at least 4 or 5 subtopics that are important because I don't want to get into that debate as to whether or not climate change exists. It makes my head hurt. Because I don't want to say I made the mistake, but I spend time on social media uh, to get a feel for the way things are to do. I don't know what I want to call that research, because it's not true research. But just to get a feel for what other people are saying, and I clicked on, I was on, oh God, I hope it wasn't X or the former Twitter,
On Twitter.
because I try and avoid that one.
Uh-huh.
And there are a lot of those people who are absolute deniers. And I jumped on and started reading through the posts of a guy who's saying this is not true. It's things that are ideas that are being constructed by people in order to extract more money from us, and that whole line of thinking. Um, I don't want to say it freaked me out because that's a poor phrase.
Mhm.
Um, it I felt it just reading it. It was almost destabilizing, and when I say that, it's very disappointing. Like I expect more from us, and I expect more from human beings. But what I thought was, instead of getting into this silly discussion, and I call it silly because climate change is a thing; it is happening. But I wanted to break it down into 4 or 5 different components that encapsulate or show the effects of climate change. And you're hitting on when you bring up your wildlife observation and watching animals change their survival patterns. I mean, these are patterns which have been learned over the course of millennia. If we can get into these topics
Mhm.
that aren't necessarily debating the reality of climate change, but we're talking about the actual impacts of climate change so that one can establish, hey, this is something that we not only need to pay attention to, but to deal with and attempt to mitigate.
I would agree
Sanji?
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this reflect on emotional and psychological impacts of climate change. That's important, and I do feel after I'd like to for Sanchi to talk a couple minutes about this. Pardon me, but I do think that I'd like to tie around what your observations, Sonny, with
Mm.
how I think it ties into our stated topic for this particular session. Sanji, thoughts on climate change or anything that Sunny's just mentioned?
Yeah, surely. Yeah, I'll keep it, and I want to get more experiences and through Sunny, because she had been there doing this research and all these things, observing this for a long time, no? So I'll
Yes.
just briefly talk about it because I was living in the forest for like more than 10 years, no? And before that also I was associating forest monasteries or meditation centers. I really love the wild and I felt very free. And you go and watch the animals and they come to you, or whatever food you have, you place it far and then you watch them, their behaviors. Then even now when our minds change, the animals also react accordingly. So talking about climate change, we really feel it because even in places we stay, they cut off trees and then it becomes warmer. Even in the tropics, we are in a tropical climate here. But then you see like even the animal population, they either migrate. In here, we have kind of like a stable environment or climate, but still you see the forests are gradually reducing. And then the animals, because you also become like a part of it. No, you feel very free. First, you have this tension and everything, but after you get used to that life, you become like a part of nature, and you can just sit that under a tree or under a rock, or like there are plenty of caves in these parts, so it's very free. So and then you feel very connected, and you feel like Tarzan, no? And then everything, even the poisonous or like the itchy stuff in the forest, like you become adapted to that also. But when you go out and come back, my goodness, your skin also starts reacting. But when you stay in the forest, like your skin and everything gets so adapted to nature, mosquitoes or anything, and even that doesn't become poisonous no more or like toxic. So even meditation, you can feel it. No, even the animals, they don't harm you. Even so, you can see like a change, and definitely it's happening all over the world. You see rivers drying up, the climate change, especially the glaciers. So if somebody's really, I don't know, like not aware of these things, you can see the water next. It will be war for water. Maybe it's already happening now in some areas because we also do many programs in different areas. So there is actually war. I don't want to mention them, but it's on behalf of another name or some cause, but actually it is for a part of a river. And then from some different reasons in some countries, like some other country comes and say they are investing, but they actually how to say pulling out the natural resources, even water itself. Huh? So because in their places it's very like how to say industrial, and these environments are so polluted, so they have to take even water from other countries. So we can clearly see, and we can see humans and animals, definitely they are the most vulnerable. So, but in ancient times, if you see like ancient masters and all, they were living with nature. Even in martial arts and all these things, also the great grandmasters, they go and live after learning all those things. They go and live in celibacy in the jungle, and they don't need to use their limbs no more. They can just use their mind and even drop a person while they are just standing, no, with the mind.
Yes.
So you see all these special people from ancient times, the saints, hermits, no, monks, nuns, or like people, religious people and all. They were so close. For example, Buddha, he was born under the tree. He became enlightened under the tree. He passed away also under the tree. And he was like, whenever there was even some thing like a conflict in the community, he just took his ropes and he just walked out into the forest. Uh, so it was, so it was such a humbling and a beautiful experience. So they say according to different spiritual or religious things, like according to the mind also, the nature and how it affected the humankind, or even the lifespan. I don't know many people will believe, but it is said now we also we see a decline of things. No, maybe our grandfathers or grandparents, they lived more than us maybe. Uh, but now we can see a decrease in lifespan, right? So they say about more, bigger, longer existences, and more the mind was corrupted, it affected even the whole environment as well as the world as well as the universe, it says. So I'll go back to Sunny. I'm really interested to know her experiences and ideas about these.
You have brought up so many thoughts for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
So
And
many.
that's great. Yeah, take it and run with it, Sonny.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Be free, yeah, just to express anything you like.
Sorry. Well, the first thought is the overwhelming thought is how everything is interrelated and
Mm,
interconnected. And it has been, it's intricately interconnected in terms of individual cells and individual microorganisms, all the way up to very complex, more cellular structures of all kinds. How, when you affect any part of any of this, you affect something else. Nothing is kept apart. So that's to me is really important. My recent field work has been with riparian systems, which in which everything is connected, really, land, water, all of it. And it's beautiful to see. It's a wonder of nature to see. It's fantastic. And I love to share that because it is beautiful. But you affect one part of it and something else collapses or has to change or disappears. It, and here we are making huge changes to our planet and things are disappearing. That's that's one thing that I thought about when you were speaking, and that was the overwhelming main thing that I thought about, including us, how we are in nature. And it was fascinating to hear you talk about skin and how that adapts, and it makes perfect sense to me. It really does. But then what happens when we try to change things, and why are we trying to change things? What causes it? That's disturbing to me, and I don't know how to help that. I really don't know the basic need other than power, greed, and so on, those kinds of things. But there has to be a better way. And Scott, you talked about empathy. You used that word, and that is paramount to me. That's so important to me. I think that's what's happening. I can't believe that some people still think climate change isn't happening. As
mm,
I hear it
Oh,
too, but
yeah, it's
it
right.
it's 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 mind-boggling. The and I feel it's important and imperative because I read these things and they'll throw down what might seem to be a convincing argument, on some level. And I think it's necessary to take it apart and really, and excuse, I don't mean to be aggressive, but kind of destroy these really bad arguments. And it's not even to destroy, but like just arguing over whether or not this climate change phenomena exists. It's not, I don't want to go. It seems like a rabbit hole. It's not a. It's a rabbit hole, but it's not. But what I felt would is more appropriate is not the discussion of whether it exists, but really get into the ways that demonstrate that this is existing, that this is happening. And there's so many different little paths, there's so many different subtopics there. And just, Sanji, like what we're talking about now, the impacts on human beings physiologically and emotionally, but
Mhm.
I'm just jotting notes. The impact on water, another one, a big obvious one, impact on energy. And Sanji brought up war, and what you said, Sonny, I really resonated with me. How you said riparian systems, Can you throw down a quick and easy definition for that? Because one thing also in these topics and discussions I think is very important is a definition of terms, and because just so that we can all be for sure that we're on the same page when we're talking about a particular thing. And then one thing we spent a little bit of time last week, maybe a lot of time, was discussing very in depth and defining compassion, empathy, and oh gosh, what was the third one in that? Sanji,
Oh no, last,
it won't.
last week?
It won't come to me. What?
Last week.
Sympathy. Oh, sympathy, empathy, and compassion.
Oh, okay.
Because I've gotten into big arguments, and I don't want to steer away from this. But yeah, well, what are riparian systems, Sunny?
What, riparian or hurricane? What are
I thought you used the word riparian systems, which I felt were complex systems that are interconnected.
I did. Riparian wetlands, areas that border water, areas that like a creek bank, a lakeside beach, riparian systems, wetlands and marshlands, that kind of thing.
Marshlands,
water,
also water,
water and land, yeah. Mhm.
border areas that where land gives into water and aquarium systems.
Yeah,
Okay.
it can be even a small area of a foot square, but it's where or it can be a large area like a huge marsh or a huge swamp, but they're riparian in water and land together.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you and Sonny, you were talking about wildlife observation, and it's such an important thing, not just watching and observing, but taking note and understanding the changes that they're being forced to go through. But the issue there is, how does it tie into us? I think it's foolish, and I'm not absolutely accusing you or anyone else here of being foolish, but the notion that we aren't part of this system too is a bad narrative. And I do feel that, I don't know what statistics on this are, but the more we are removed from that system from which we ultimately came from, the greater troubles people have. I do feel instances of mental health problems and the other problems that breeds have on people are greater in areas of high density living. When you have cities with upwards of even 1 million people, you get into high density spots, and when people don't have that ability to get back in touch with nature, to go on walks or hikes, or and not even outside of the city, but hopefully some cities have a big park or something that you can kind of detach from the streets and the sounds and the honking and even other people for a minute, and touch a tree or walk across a creek or watch birds or rabbits running across the path. Now I'm spinning away from what I was talking about. I'm glad we have the edit function here.
No, it's okay.
But there is no. We are connected to this, and the more we become disconnected to it, I do feel the more problems we have on a number of ways.
Sunny, what do you think
But
about?
I agree with that. I mean, it's no accident that nature is healing for us. We're part of it, so it would be healing for us, of course. I think we have detached ourselves from it, and what I fear is that we think we're greater than nature, or that there might be I shouldn't put it like that, but I'm afraid that may be part of what's happening to change it, to change nature. And nature will adapt. It might not adapt in ways that we like, but it will adapt. So yes, I don't know. I find it interesting that you were mentioning bringing up psychology and emotions, because that makes perfect sense also to me. What do you think, Sanji, about that?
Oh, I think we had to go back to our roots, no? So there was a discussion recently, and they asked about connectivity, and so it's like our lost link. Yeah, to be honest, it's our
Yeah.
lost link, right? The connection, human to human, human to nature. It's all we are losing it, and we are isolated, and we are like isolated pods. So like we are separated, no? So that's why they say, and it's funny. I also watch now over the years, all these years, like people build big structures of concrete, and within that they try to make a small garden within that, right? They chop off the forest or cut all these trees. But sometimes you have to do for not people to live in, but you destroy all that, and within that you make like a small miniature garden or a pond or something. But now they realize it's not the fact, so they are trying to create a lot of things. Yeah. So and they say be with nature, you feel better. They put children in safe places and allow them to be with nature, with safe teachers and all. So but the ancient people were very close to nature, then they didn't have so many psychological disorders like now. We see many cases of depression, stress, anxiety, suicidal, no but we don't hear so much in many cultures, right? Uh, we don't hear in our cultures and all. Uh, I'm just telling, for us, like before, even to go and meet a psychiatrist, it was a huge thing. Not that it was a primitive thing, because there were no such people. Very rarely there were such cases. So to meet a psychologist, it was like a big deal. Now we have many psychologists, counselors, so many in our societies also, and these issues seem very normal thing. Uh, they with so-called modernization. Uh, so, but ancient times and they used to live in many philosophies and all. We are also considered as earth, wind, water, fire. What we eat, breathe, drink is also earth, wind, water, fire. So, and they say like when we die, also the elements connect back again. And from our mother's womb, from the food she eats, the nature she gives, no? And everything they through her maybe bloodstream or anything, but still we are created, right? We are born. And from step by step, from a single cell, we are we gradually increase, but at some point we'll go reduce to what we came from. Uh, so uh, so the energy is mind energy, physical energy, and definitely it has a huge impact, because nature, whatever we do, however advanced we say, we cannot stop the tsunamis, right? We cannot stop the volcanoes. We cannot even stop the hurricanes and all these things, right? We can do measures for protection, or adaptations, right? Or countermeasures. But we cannot still stop them. No, how? So nature, it seems like all this wins, right? However we try to destroy it or distract it, uh, and at some point it might have the last laugh also, no? So yeah,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, please, like you all also please add your viewpoints and ideas, suggestions.
So I like that. The last laugh. That's
Oh, absolutely. And I do feel not necessarily that it's necessary to, well, I think it's necessary to be aware. I don't think nature is necessarily sympathetic towards us, you know, and we are a component of this system. And whether or not we survive, I don't. I feel nature is, for the most part, ambivalent. but human beings do seem to have an ego, and they do seem to often you do feel this notion that we are important, or something along those lines. And I disagree. Nature, the planet, the universe will keep on going whether or not we are able to take part, much less contribute to things.
I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
And, well, one thing I did, it is easy to kind of talk and talk and talk, but I did do a little bit of research, and I noticed your books on Amazon, Sonny. The two I noticed, Reflections on a collection of short stories, and I like it. On a very simple, extraneous level, I like the serendipity of that, because our session is reflections on of this section of Chatter and Calm, reflections of emotional and psychological impacts of climate change, and that there's a common word, and when there are these moments, I pay attention. Moments of coincidence, I pay attention to them. But I was much more interested in your other book, your a little bit more recent book, Secret Lives of Chickens. It sounds fascinating. And I guess the first simple question that came to mind, because I will buy it, and I will ask friends and family and anyone else who's willing to listen to me to look at it and read it. But the first simple question that popped in my mind this morning, as right before I sat up to meditate, was why chickens? Was it a proximity thing, or was it a choice?
They're fascinating. They're amazing. They're very they're just very interesting little creatures. Yes, I did live right with them and have, but I find that they're far more complex than we think, and they show far more sociology than we think. They have their own little system and way of living, and we don't seem to see that. Again, that's part of that detachment we seem to have that I wish we didn't have. But there they are, and I was watching them, and they're just so interesting. They really are. They have a society that's very complex, I find. And so I wrote about that because I really like them. I love chickens, actually. They're really interesting creatures. And by the way, thank you for bringing me on today. I did not thank you in the beginning, and I'm very grateful. Thank you so much, both of you, for allowing me to speak. I tend to be shy, and it's hard for me sometimes to just speak. But thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so happy you came. And I'm so happy to have had the very brief 30, 40 minutes that you agreed to come on and talk to us in between sips of coffee. It adds a sincerity and authenticity to what we're doing, I feel, or at least trying to do. And again, this goes. I have mad appreciation for you, because it's hard for me at 8:30, to get up, and it's I was up well before 8:30, but just to mentally prepare and be able to be to a point where you can coherently speak can be a challenge on a Sunday morning, and I haven't had coffee. And anytime you need to go, please, I accept, and please realize I am grateful for you joining us.
And definitely, we would love to have you in our other programs or events. No, like we can continue with this topic, and we would love to have your experiences and share your knowledge. So this will be on the internet also, Sunny. So then, at some point, people can refer, no, whatever stays in the internet stays for some time, no, even if we are not present, we all, right? So this
I
will
would
be
love that.
some time. So that will be wonderful if you share your experiences, what you did, how you saw within this time periods, know what you experienced. All these things will be very fascinating, and it's a great gift. No, you already did, as well as we can keep
Oh,
uh, as a, how to say, a storage of all that information, as well as expertise. No?
thank you. Thank you. I would love that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and even at this moment, Sunny, we our experience or my experience with my chats with Sanji are that we allocate an hour, but most of the time I look at my watch when we finally decide to stop, and it's 2.5 hours in, and that is too much time. And we're kind of approaching this point mentally. I was thinking 30 minutes to hear me drivel on about whatever or engaging people, and then at least 20 minutes of meditation, because I do feel that's I'll accept that the intent of this program isn't to funnel attention towards Sanji. He doesn't want that much attention,
Yeah.
but his knowledge and his teaching and his guidance are profoundly important, and that's one. I talk all the time. I don't want to listen to myself talk. I do enjoy sitting up. No, the day after November 6th was a very difficult day for me, and I did have a meeting planned with Sanji, and we did do the meeting, even though prior to the meeting, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to get out of bed. I just wanted to kind of get in this place and freak out and deal with the freak out. And I'm referring to November 7th, which is the day after the election. But, I soldiered on, and I met with Sanji, and that meeting and the discussion and the ensuing meditation completely flipped my day. I was able to become a participating member of society, but it was only after a good solid 30-minute meditation session with Sanji. And it was very helpful. And those are the things that I shooting for. Like, if I can help anyone have a creative, not creative, but a good day, that I feel successful, and I'm happy. Even if it's pointing to Sanji and saying, "Hey, let's start on a meditation." But we're hitting that moment
That's
when
what I slowly tried to come into, right?
yeah, we are hitting that moment where we should probably start a guided meditation. Sanji, is that and
Are you?
Sunny, if you have time, that'd be great. And if you have other obligations or just want to get back in bed, that's great too. Um,
Fine. I'm fine. Thank you.
thoughts, Sanji, there, or Susan? Not Susan, Sunny. I'm sorry.
There. Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Is meditation, guided meditation, okay with you? And is that okay with you, Sanji?
Yeah, okay. So
I mean, it feels like a clunky spot to jump in, because I do feel like we could talk for a lot longer than we actually have the time to talk for.
no, we continue this topic, and we definitely invite Sunny again and again. So yeah, it will be wonderful, right? I think
Anytime.
so much experience.
Anytime, you're more than welcome, Sunny. Please, yeah.
Yeah, please, we will
I,
definitely.
I appreciate and enjoy your presence.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me. I'm very grateful.
Sfotos has tons of experience, and he was in the business field, and he's like a business coach, and now authenticity coach, and yeah, like a transformation coach. So he's also sharing his experiences to help people, because in the livelihoods the people need, no. But he's like wonderful human who's interested in spiritual or like upbringing of the mind, meditation practices, and even for his children and everything. People around him, he's like encouraging those people to like better themselves, no, through upbringing of mind. So he has been in all sorts of situations, no, the material side as well as the spiritual side, and now he's in like a way of helping humanity. So it's all wonderful. These kind of people getting together, and everybody has like a lot of experiences and things to offer to humanity. 10 minutes of guided meditation, and we do like 10 minutes of uh, a silent meditation. Sunny, are you all right with that?
Yes.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be specific
Okay.
on that. Okay, please relax or like sit in the most comfortable position. So actually, these are ancient methods and they were so close to nature, and we are on the path of going back to our essence or reality. So it goes way up to even enlightenment. But before that, you will be meeting like the four elements and everything, our real structure, no? The physical energy, mental energy. But it won't just happen. We cannot just pretend, no? So there is a path and a specific path, like the ancient ones have specifically shown. So we were practicing this for years on. So this is nothing I am creating. It's like a super highway. It's always been there. So I just help people to like say, and I also had to took like detours, pitfalls, all these things. So I said, don't do that. I did that and I fell down, no. So please don't do that, no. And today also there was a person and this person. So it's like very simple, like your coffee. You boil a pot of coffee or water, so say that we see the negative side. No, this coffee is fine. So if it was just water and burning, the steam was burning a person. The steam burns, but it's the same temperature, right? And the pot is also hot. So the we first like find a filtration for the steam because steam burns more. It scars the body, right? In a negative way, I mean. But it happens because there's inner boiling in the pot. So it's like the inner simmering that happens within our minds. That is stage two. And then if the pot is left alone with water, it doesn't suddenly start jumping and boiling. No, it doesn't. The pot even becomes cool, right? Because the water is naturally cool. Huh? So there is some external reason like heat or some energy that makes it boil. And then after that, the steam follows, right? So in the deeper third stage, what people focus, it's called insight meditation, vipassana meditation. They go to the root. It's like deep diving, and they remove those roots, so it doesn't boil no more. Then there will be definitely no more steam. But there is a process that happens. So today it will be just like a guided meditation. But if one puts proper practice within 1 year's time, they can complete all these things. Uh, but we were doing a lot of stuff. So I took, and we were doing it at a very leisurely pace. So it took me like 3 hours to 3 years, sorry, 3 years to like learn all these things continuously.
Mm.
But if person is really without doing all the things, they can cover this within 1 year or less, even if you do the main basic necessities. So it's very practical. It's not a specific religion or anything like that. It's like a highway. Anybody can travel. Okay, so please relax. Key fact is we learn to relax. I'll just keep a time here. And then you can relax the muscles of your body. Take a few deep breaths. Take a few deep breaths. Fill up your lungs and let. So this is also energy. This is also nature, the air element. Let it fill you up and travel all through your body and exhale. There are specific meditations like four elements meditation. They teach you specifically about different elements of the body. It's not superficial. There's nothing imaginary. You really get the direct experience. So with each exhale, try to relax. Even your hands, you can just drop to either side of the body or right in front of you and relieve your shoulders. So these are elements at its work. If there's hardness, there's softness. If there's roughness, there's smoothness. If there's heat, there's cold. And then we have like the water element, the flowing, the cohesion, and then the air element that pushes, even the pulse, the breath, the inflation or expansion. These are all related to air element. And ancient ones knew this exactly. And they could focus one, make it more lesser or more prominent. That's why they could just go and without even those extra additional clothing, they can just stay in the snow even or the ice. They knew how to adjust these things. Some people cure very terminal illnesses, but just relax and feel the air element travel all through your body, relaxing each part. So later we can understand even our skull, bones, teeth. These are also more prominent earth element. But though it has hardness, there's softness also there. That's why metal also can be molded or melted. It can change, no? And it goes way deeper than that even. That's why we all are so uniquely connected physically as well as mentally. And the food we take, the water we drink, the breath we take, all this helps the thought process, the emotions. This is called psychology, right? Just move to parts of your body, the upper part of the head, the forehead region, and just know if you feel any stiffness or let the opposite characteristic come in. If you feel warm, to balance it. That's what we do with medicines and all also. The water we drink, if we feel hot, we drink something. If we feel cold, we drink something warm. Or we take a shower. We balance the elements. And slowly move down the body to the eyebrows, the eyes. Let them relax. Then slowly you will feel the breath near your nostrils. Then the teeth and the tongue. Can release the jaw muscles. The one side of the face, opposite side of the face, back of the head, the neck region. You can even adjust the posture. Later, it's like erasing parts of the body. More you let go and release, more relaxation happens. That's why, according to our topic, also, more egoistic people are, more they grab hold on to. They don't find relaxation. They are separated, they are isolated. But more we let go, more we release, more we are connected, more we are relaxed. Then slowly move to your shoulders. Just drop your hands to either side there, like you're hanging a jacket or a sweater, and release the shoulder. You don't have to use any, the body exactly knows the amount of energy and all it needs. We don't have to be a part of that even. So we are letting it go, and slowly to the chest area, the abdomen, and try to adjust the posture in the most comfortable posture. And do the same to the upper back, lower back. And then select one of your arms, the upper part of the arm, the middle part of the arm, all the way right up to the fingertips. Let your body be absorbed into the surroundings or the chair you're sitting upon or the surface. You're seated on a surface or a chair. It's like you're slowly dissolving or you are absorbed into your surroundings, even the air around you. Now we try to seek a special, different, or we try to identify ourselves. But ancient wisdom says it's like a torch being circulated in a circular notion. That's how we identify. But it happens from place to place. When a person takes a fire torch and turns it in like a circle, it's not a circle, but we see it as a circle. Likewise, because our mind is born in different places, and we feel the touch, the sensations, and all, it's like the torch circulating, and we feel okay, the body is there, we are separated. And more the ego, more the causes that get gather around it, we think it's more solid. We are forever. But that is not the case. It's momentary, very momentary. And everything around us also arises and passes. So just even the other arm, let it relax. And in the middle part of the arm, all the way right up to your fingertips. And in the lower part of the body also, just see whether you are seated comfortably. If needed, adjust the posture. And just like the arm, select the one of the legs, the upper part, the knee, the middle part, all the way right up to the toes. And then do the same to the opposite leg also. The upper part, the knee, the middle part, all the way right up to the toes. So let your body just dissolve like the sugar we dissolve in the coffee if you use, or the coffee itself, right? Then it's more digestible or acceptable. But when it's started to be in a solid form, it's difficult even for the body, to accept. Even in plant, when it's mixed with water, it can absorb very well. So now slowly come to your heart region and just stay there without doing anything else. And just try to separate yourself from everything around you. Just be and just feel, even the physicality. Because this is also a temporary, like a vehicle or a shell. That's why it was evolving, it was changing from time to time. Even our postures change. Even the mind changes. And if possible, slowly move your attention outwards, just outside of you. And just feel like you are the observer, like you're watching nature outside. You don't get involved. People go on safari and all. Sometimes they just observe, right? They don't get involved. Just be your observer of just the things around you. And just see whether you can just blend in. And then slowly take maybe just outside of your window. Sometimes listening to the rain, the water flow, the wind. So beautiful, so tranquil, and so refreshing. Why? Because we are a part of that. If we were not, we would not feel it. That's why when we hear nature, sometimes we have to use it as sounds like we call it white noise. Because what we sometimes construct is very rough and seems very artificial. Now slowly come back into the surrounding areas around you, and then slowly within back to your body. And while you are there, slowly move your attention to the breath. And this is a factor also to feel or dissolve our separation. So each in breath, know it's a arising of phenomena, physically as well as mentally, because breath is a key factor that keeps us alive. Food, water, breath, and from that also breath is a huge one. You can say the most important thing. But with each breath, you can see there's a rising of physicality as well as emotional and mental phenomena. And then with each out breath, there's a passing. So it is like it is mentioned in Zen practices and all. We are like a speck of salt just beside the ocean. If the ocean was nature, we try to separate ourselves and we say, oh, we are so valuable, we are so separate, but yet we are also salt. So by these practices, what we do, we toss that speck of salt back to the mighty ocean. So that is what we have to do. And on the path, that is what we exactly do. Dissolve ideas, views that separate us. So we can go back to our true nature as well as be with all this beautiful nature around us. So just to finish the guided session, we can use a bit of loving kindness for ourselves and everything around us. May I be free from anger or any kind of distraction, separation. May I be free from mental pain. May I be free from physical pain. May I live happily and peacefully. And take it far further even. May all beings just like me, or may I also be a part of everything. And may all beings and everything, trees, animals, humans, all uh, be free from any kind of destruction, discomfort, be free from mental pain, free from physical pain, live happily and peacefully. That's why we can find true harmony, true peace, true unity without the separation. So from now, we did exactly 10 minutes. Let's do a silent meditation for 10 minutes. Okay. To finish our silent meditation, slowly bring your attention to your heart area. If you want, slowly place one of your hands on the heart or the chest, or even some people like to put both the hands and just say, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful, because the world really needs now. We also need, and everything around needs this now. May all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful, may all beings be well, may all beings be happy, may all beings be peaceful. And then slowly bring your attention along upwards and then to your eyes, and slowly you can open your eyes. Okay.
Thank you, Sanji.
Okay.
Thank you, Sunny.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Sanji.
Okay. I wish you all have a beautiful day. And thank you so much. It was
Yes.
wonderful. And surely we'll discuss more on this topic. I think we just had a glimpse of things, no, Scott? Of things.
I think we're scratching the tip of the iceberg. kind of.
So many things, no?
I mean, it's a big important part of the iceberg, but yeah, we're just
For
beginning
young
to
people
get.
not get to know about nature. And as we all are adults now, right? So we can leave something, even some information or something to do what we did with our lives, as because they see all these things on internet and it seems so artificial, no? All these plastics, all this makeup, or whichever, no? And these are like
Mm.
they show even not even humans, right? Now it's AI and all this also. So why not we help them go and find themselves even, right? And connect with nature, connect with
Mhm.
their real inner nature also, no?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. We should. And at the bottom of the video, we'll include a link that helps people find the closest park that they can take a walk and get reconnected with nature, or maybe a link to find an anthill so they can sit down and watch how significant and important even the lives of ants are. Yeah.
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 And so it's true, Sunny. I also watch about the chickens and many videos and lot of things about nature. And your people just taken them from granted. But these are like really, because I think now it's just like an industry, right? So they are put into that place like all many of animal species, no? So it's like they just like, but even plants have their unique characteristics, right? But
Yes.
but now they are like mass productions and it's very artificial, right? But I saw like where they communicate, how they function. Even I saw like a predator animal coming and trying to catch a child of theirs, and how they reacted, how organized they were, and actually they were able to like, even because this was supposed to be a, usually we think like they are afraid and they hide and all, but the courage that mother brought up and how she fought for her children, and you cannot even imagine actually the aggressor had to surrender because she was like really like onto it. Yeah. Could have seen the courage, and we just think people just say like, even people say like chicken, no, like being afraid, but no, it was the total opposite. So I think we have not even a clue of how things happen, right?
That's correct. I agree.
Mm.
I agree
Yeah.
entirely. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you for
So,
thank you. Appreciate that so much.
you will have a beautiful day, and hopefully we can meet again very soon.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah?
I will,
Have a good day.
Okay, see you. Have a wonderful day.
bye bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.